I loaded my backpack with water and a phone charger before setting out on my mind-clearing walk through Atlanta after dark. The avenues absent of life. The street, silent and separated from the delicate drama of the day. The pink promises of tomorrow had begun to announce its arrival as I made my way back to my dorm. But I didn't get far before stopping at the sight of my reflection. The mirror image of myself wasn't exact, or from a glance at a glass storefront, rather a reflection of my profile as a young black man. He and I locked eyes as I walked by where he was settled, and as the distance between he and I grew, so did his confidence to speak. He shouted an inaudible expression at me as I now stood maybe 20 feet away. I removed my earbuds and I fixed my feet in his direction, now walking back to the man I had just passed. I asked, "Did you say something?" He nodded to confirm before telling me he liked my shoes. "Those are Jordans, right?" he asked, excited for me to answer yes. Yeah, I told him. Jordan 3's. Man, I love Jordans. I used to have a few. Comfortable with the conversation, I promptly plopped down on the ground next to him, as we sat close as kin on Thanksgiving. With no meal in sight, just an insightful conversation for me to digest. While his name escapes me, his journey doesn't. He asked me what I was doing out so late. I told him I was a student who found solace in my solitary searches of peace throughout the night. I asked him if he was hungry, to which he offered a quick no as he made it clear he was much more concerned with what I just told him. "So you're in college," a phrase he spoke less as a statement and more as an interrogative intention. I repeated the fact that I was in school and I told him where. He offered a smirk before revealing he too considered my campus a home. Quite confused, I asked him what he meant, seeing that his tattered attire and sour stench suggested he was homeless. "Yeah, I sleep in that garage when the weather is less than friendly." Impressed by his resilience, I asked him how he ended up out here. He correctly assumed that I was talking about being homeless and not how we ended up 2 miles from the garage he found shelter in. "I got in some trouble back home," he confessed. "Home?" "Yeah, I'm from North Carolina and I moved out here to be with a family member, but didn't exactly land on my feet." Refraining from getting too deep in his own business, he pointed a finger at my earbuds and he asked me, "Yo, what you listening to?" Laughing, I told him how I was a self-proclaimed hip-hop head. Just some Outkast, some of their earlier stuff. It seemed like he only asked a question to set up what he wanted to say next. Half listening, he interrupted my answer to say, "Yeah, I was a rapper in North Carolina." "You got YouTube on that phone?" "Yeah," I said. "Well, type this in." As my fingers gracefully glided over my keyboard under the aura of the moon, he began to share with me how eager he was to show me a video he made when he was rapping. We both stared intently at my phone as we watched what was once of a man who was now down on his luck, living humbly in a foreign state. I told him that I wanted to be a rapper once upon a time, but in Atlanta that dream is claimed far too often. But here I was sharing a moment with a man who gotten so much closer to that dream than I ever hoped or ever had. And there he was, eyes fixed on me, a kid a few years younger than him who shared his dream, but tightly clenched a different reality. And up to that point, college had been a burden for me, a burden I was blessed to bear. But making music of my thoughts, that was a luxury I'd yet to live. Before standing tall over the man to leave, I gripped the heels of my Jordan 3's, only to rip them from my feet. First my right, then my left. Then I handed them to the man with the defeated dream. Sometimes I wonder if he's still walking in my shoes, but most of all, I wonder if I ever walk in his. I guess death comes in threes, the death of a dream.